Welcome, everyone, to Price Action Live here at TradersPost for August 8th, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Tom Hartman, alongside co-founder and CSO Mike Christensen. Today, we get to see me trade live prop firms, multiple prop firms at the same time, discretionary trading on the chart. It's going to be Tom on the live wire for the first time. Mike, what do you imagine are my chances for success?
I mean, pretty high. You know what you're doing for sure. But I'm just excited to see you earn your stripes here today. This is going to be fun.
That's right. We're here trading, but we're not just trading. We're trading using the most advanced trade execution software known to man, TradersPost. I'm going to be enjoying the idea here that I have multiple prop firms connected to my TradersPost account. And so then when I'm sending my signals through from TradingView, they're going to be copied across multiple accounts. Now, I'm like a little baby fledgling when it comes to this. I only have 2 accounts for my prop firms, but I'm looking to grow this to more and more. Because if you guys have seen me, I'm perfectly fine with taking massive amount of risk as I learn more and more about this. So it's great.
I think you'll find that once you get used to the process, it will turn out that way, where you'll start to feel more comfortable with more and more risk, or at least more managed risk. We should probably use the right phrase here. We're not just throwing away. We're trying not to throw around random trades here and random risk. There is some
that I do not do. Exactly. All right, so I'm setting up my alerts here right now. I already have in the TradersPost back in my strategy set up. So I've created a strategy here, prop firm that's connected to my prop firm accounts. So if I click on the 2 subscriptions over here, you can see my 2 Topstep accounts that are connected. Right now, I am in Bitcoin trades for that, but I'm able to send signals for NASDAQ, which is what I'll be trading this morning. Hopefully, I might change on the fly, but we'll see how that goes. Once those trades come through, when those signals come through, they're going to trigger trades on the 2 prop firm accounts, which we'll see show up here. Now, I need to set up. I'm setting up my alerts right now so that on my trading chart, this 1 minute MNQ chart, I have 4 lines: stop loss, take profit, and enter short and enter long. Let me just change this. And on those lines, I'm setting up alerts so that when they get crossed, the appropriate signal is sent to TradersPost.
I do love seeing you're using our exit levels or position manager indicator we've been working on. This is an indicator that will allow you to not only trigger those entry and exit signals, but it'll also keep track of your open P&L once you're in a position, right?
Actually, this one I'm using just the lines on the chart that like you're doing, because I want to see what that's like.
Okay, got it. All right.
Yeah.
I thought for sure that's what confused me earlier. Sorry, we spoke before we went live on the stream, and I thought you were using that indicator. You're just using solid lines there, horizontal lines.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this will make it even better for me to do the indicator as I see what the hard way of doing it is.
All right, that makes way more sense.
All right, MNQU 2025. All right, so here inside my alert, I am just changing the ticker to be the MNQU 2025 contract. If I wanted to see what the contract name was, I could always right-click on the chart, click at labels, symbol name label, and I could see MNQU 2025 show up inside of the sidebar.
Got about 10 minutes to the open.
That's right. Haven't even chosen my bias for the day. That'll be fun. Let's see.
That's another tough one. I mean, I did not see the pullback or the overnight reversal there. So it's been an interesting. It's like chop showing up on the higher time frames now.
Right. So I found that because my Bitcoin bias yesterday was for Bitcoin to go up to the level that it was at, and then I turned short, and then the NASDAQ followed later. So I'm like, oh, sometimes it's this lag that happens between the correlation between like there's more volatility, I guess, within the NASDAQ, and then the correlation sort of like catches up or slows down. It's not like coincident. So I'm like, okay, I can't use the Bitcoin price as an indicator for a short-term indicator for a NASDAQ, but I can use it for like the day. It felt like over the period of the day, it'll catch up at some point.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's just what it looked like.
I did do a little more research on how reliable the correlation coefficient can be between the NASDAQ and the Dixie, because I know this has been such an interesting conversation of ours so far. And one thing that I think I've discovered is, and I definitely have more math to do around this. Obviously, you can use statistics to really determine the long-term running relationship between two instruments, and run an augmented Dickey-Fuller test and a whole bunch of other stuff in order to determine how stable the relationship is. But let's assume for a moment that it is a stable relationship. One thing I can say is that when it is negatively correlated or positively correlated by some extreme, let's call it greater or less than 0.8 on either side, that is an extreme correlation, either positive or negative correlation, and it should mean revert at that point. What's been interesting about the 2-hour chart right now is that that negative correlation lasted longer than I've seen in the past. I'm always looking at how that correlation can vacillate from positive to negative, and it kind of bounces back and forth. But interestingly, this last, from I think August 7th at roughly 5 a.m. Central through to almost now, it's now starting to finally mean revert. It was in that range of negatively correlated for a longer period of time than usual, which I find really interesting because during that period of time, the dollar kind of chopped around at that 98.2 level. And that could be one part of the reason for the numbers. But the NASDAQ was really choppy in that area as well. So it didn't trend during that period, which is what would make it a reliable indicator. But I do want to point out that we're going to start the day at negative 0.45 on a correlation coefficient, a rolling correlation coefficient. And that's should say that if the dollar is going up, which it's starting to this morning, it's up 19 basis points, that should be an indicator that the NASDAQ will be coming down. But we'll see. I think the way I'm trying to think about it is the negative correlation shouldn't last long. So in essence, that relationship should start to deteriorate, and they can start to move closer to in tandem. So if the Dixie's going up right now, that might also indicate that the NASDAQ's going up, which then has my brain spinning, and I'm wondering, why are we even looking at this? Focus on what the NASDAQ's doing.
The reason I focus on it is that whenever I look back on my trades that succeeded or failed, and I go, what the dollar was doing was some major component, and I just ignored at my peril. But it's probably like when there's a significant move, like when we saw over here, this drop that happened, that's something to actually pay attention to, and the chop is something to sort of ignore. But I also care about like where. So over here on my indicators, you'll see that the price of the dollar came down, and it's like falling down below the level. So now it's actually like squeezing lower, and so it speaks to the idea that a move is going to happen in this yellow zone. Either it's going to break out or break down. Like it won't just continue to go sideways forever. One of those things will occur, and I don't want to be on the wrong side when it does, and I don't want to like not pay attention to when it happens, because if it's going to move up dramatically, like there will be a sell-off.
Fair.
And if it moves down, there will be a rise. So we'll see. All right, so I have my let me see what Bitcoin is doing here. What I love is that on the for the my Bitcoin trades, in fact, should I exit that position? For the Bitcoin trades, I can send the signal off to TradersPost. But then I also trade, you'll see here I'm trading off of like an exchange not supported, but the signal's going off to TradersPost in order to do it on the prop firms, and then another signal is going off, I can go off in order for me to trade in some other tool. So like over here, I can actually be connected to my BitGet account directly in TradingView and do trades, and then at the same time on the same chart, I can send trade signals off to TradersPost, which I like, because I didn't like being on the Bitcoin futures chart.
Got it.
All right. My bias is short today, but for there's not a lot of downside for me. I'm like actually more right now. The NASDAQ is generally bullish. That's what the screen here is on the 15, but we are oscillating around the VWAP. And so when we oscillate around VWAP, I don't take any trades there. I'm gonna wait for a move. Welcome, Adventura Trader. Always happy to see you here. I look forward to seeing if you're taking the same sort of trades in the same direction. But I guess, do I want to hear people's trades before I take them or as I take them or after I take them?
You're running into my dilemma. I try not to listen to anybody else's opinions. I think you should set your own bias, set your own direction. Tom, you and I may end up in opposite direction trades today, which I would find fascinating. And that'll make this this whole stream even more interesting, especially those who like to copy trade live streamers, which I find hilarious. Like, do your own research, find your own approach, take your own trades. If you happen to be in the same direction of us, then great, you got a little confluence. Great to see you too, Trey. Honestly, it's always great having you here in the sessions.
People copy trade live streamers?
Yeah, which I find crazy because
never even thought about that.
Yeah, they'll basically watch the setup and they try to put on the same exact trade. But the thing is, most streams are somewhere between 10 and 20 seconds delayed. So by the time he's in the position, especially in futures, if you're leveraged, you've already missed like a huge portion of the move. You're going to have incredible slippage. In some cases, but still, yeah, I find it pretty fascinating. There's a couple of streamers that I follow on Twitter who have people complain to them that they move too quickly, that they should slow down so that they can get into their positions and understand what position they should take. And one of the guys that I follow selling rips in general, he goes, listen, I am not a signal provider. This is for entertainment purposes only. And in that regard, I agree with him. I think this should be educational. We should share some of our thesis on how we look at markets, how we use TradersPost, how we're doing account scaling. But ultimately, we really want, we really encourage people to make their own trades, take their own approach, generate their own signals, do their own analysis. This stuff is something you have to learn on your own because you're going to come up with your own view on markets and your own style that really works for you. However, selling rips or I trade or Tom trades may not match your personality type.
That's right. All right. I don't want to be in two trades at once, so let me just go ahead and trigger this to get out of my Bitcoin position.
All right, we're 30 seconds to the open.
Yeah. All right, so there's my signal out.
Okay, I'm going to make sure I've got my accounts ready to go.
All right, exit complete. It's the wrong price, but that's fine. 30 seconds. All right, 1 second, and market is open. All right, we're off to the races.
All right, so right out of the gate here, we have a tiny gap from yesterday's session. I'm going to go ahead and continue this regression trend from yesterday. Oh, come to think of it, I'm not actually sharing my screen, but we have yours live right now. Did you want to give us your thoughts on this initial candle?
I was expecting where there's this range here that we're in just for the morning, or for the electronic hour session. So I was expecting to bounce up, but we have to see if it actually continues forward. Options. God, I got to re-sign up to Spot Gamma. I know I mentioned them yesterday. I used to use them all the time when I was trading more during the day. Without options information, I feel like sort of half blind. So I don't know where the gamma pins are.
Does Spot Gamma also provide the expected move of the day?
I'm not sure about that. When their tool set has expanded greatly over the last year or two. When I was paying attention to them, it was just to see where the gamma pins are, where the price is going to be attracted to. That's all I really cared about. Oh wait, this is the wrong trend here. Let's see. Yes, wrong trend. 2 hours. Okay, yeah, definitely chop. All right, I'm not going in there yet. Yesterday's level, daily, actually no, it was mitigated, wasn't it? No, so yesterday's VWAP level is unmitigated at 23,257.
Okay.
And so I would imagine we would head back down there, except that we did mitigate. Sorry, that was the day before yesterday. Yesterday's level is 23,512. And we did mitigate that over in the overnight. So I never really know if we should, if the nearest level has been mitigated, sometimes we just ignore the ones below and we keep moving up. But when I take a look at the dollar right now, yeah, this is bullish for me for equities. As long as the dollar price keeps falling.
Sorry, Tom, you want to switch to your screen?
Oh, sure. Yeah, so as long as the dollar price is like bearish, I really don't like taking shorts. Let me take a look at bonds.
20 basis points. And as I mentioned, that negative correlation was pretty strong there for a little while.
Right. What's bonds doing? Short-term bonds are rising.
Yeah, I'm still very curious how the market is continuing to respond to this tariff mess.
Oh, if there's one thing I don't do is pay any attention to news or narrative when I am trading. Oh my God, get into your head.
It's true. And pretty much in general, that's again what I like about the thesis of technical analysis is whatever's showing up in the news, whatever's the rumor on the street, whatever has happened that hasn't even broken out on the news yet is going to show up on the chart.
Okay, so Bitcoin is still downtrending. So I do expect Bitcoin to fall to 159-ish.
Sorry, 159?
So, what 115.9? 115,900. And so if that's the case, I would expect a short. Sorry?
It's such a crazy number just to think about. 115,000 on Bitcoin.
I try not to think about what I owned Bitcoin at before. I sold it. Okay, so if I were to take the trade this morning, like I would have opened my position near the low over here and then sold it near the high, but it's just too fine a needle to thread.
Fair enough.
All right, I need a little bit more.
So interestingly, so are you going to trade NASDAQ today then?
Yes, yeah. I only like trading Bitcoin at night.
One thing I'm noticing here is the session VWAP, New York VWAP, and the EVWAP are actually pretty much in tandem with one another today.
That's right. That's what I don't like.
which indicate, yeah, usually there's a little gap between the two, but the overnight session was pretty flat once it reached that high. Well, I like that it's a little less volatile from the open here, but that tells me that we're going to have a bit of a choppy open. I'm going to need to take some time to wait for a range to form, and we might take the break out of that. I'll basically go back to the basic orb strategy here.
So guys, here using TradersPost, I have my levels that are on the chart. My lines are on the chart that I'm waiting for price to cross. I'm going to move them to where I need them to be. But for the moment, I have them disabled on the right side. I don't want them to fire accidentally if there's some big move. So I will be turning those guys on after I move the levels to where I need them to be. And I have them set to fire only once so that after they fire, they'll turn off automatically. But of course, I'll still keep an eye on that to make sure that's the case.
Oh, man. We've got a little bit of a bug on TradersPost here that we need to figure out. When you go to the dashboard, it's still pulling in accounts that have been disabled and removed. And so it's freezing up the whole interface here. I'll put the dev team on this.
All right. As I move back to the top of the range, if I'm going to take a short, now's the time, but still too early.
You're still considering a short?
I'm frankly considering like a scalp.
Okay.
A scalp is like, oh, do a scalp. It doesn't matter what direction it is. It doesn't matter. It's the small move.
So you plan on just getting in and out with a line, or are you going to attach a take profit stop loss on that order?
I would still have to take profit stop loss with lines as well. I wouldn't do a bracket.
Oh, I see. Okay. So this would be alert based from TradingView instead of with the broker.
Correct.
Yep.
I just don't like how beautiful this green candle is.
It's a good looking candle. We're starting to close above VWAP now. I think I like it from here. I'm going to go ahead and go long.
It's so funny how we think exactly opposite for some of these trades.
Yep.
I'm like, should I go into a short right now?
I like the overnight. This is in top step. Okay, good. 2, 2, 3, and 3. I think we're good. I like that we're above VWAP. I like the bullish candle from the open here on the 15-minute chart. Even on the 5-minute, it's looking pretty good. We're not straddling indicators. It doesn't look choppy. The 2-hour trend shows that we had a reversal from yesterday from the open, but we're above the anchored VWAP there, and it's an upward regression trend. And in general, we're still in a daily bull market here. So yes, it's pulling back just a little bit here, but we're still above VWAP. It's also not moving very quickly, so I'm not too worried about price action yet.
Right.
I think what got me in trouble the last couple of days is how volatile things were from the open.
That's right.
I mean, yesterday's open was a 2x ATR of roughly 445. We're at a 2x ATR right now of 30. So candle size is obviously a lot bigger, a lot smaller today.
All right. So nothing is telling me. It's fun. I've never traded like this with. I only use my indicators. I only use indicators that I've created, and that way I'm sort of like.
You're kind of in control.
Yeah, I know exactly what it's trying to say. I never have to be like, am I interpreting this correctly?
Sure.
But here I have neutral on the 1 minute, neutral on the 15-minute, but bullish on the 2 hour. And 2 hour is what I normally trade. And we're eating the candle right now on the daily.
Yep. So that's my sentiment too. If I look at the 2-hour chart, we found support in this regression trend. We found support on anchored VWAP. Multiple anchored VWAP lines anchored to the pivot points of previous 2-hour pivots. And then overall, the trend seems to be pushing upward. Obviously, on the 1 minute and right from the open here, we are above VWAP. Aventura says his automated strategy just took a long from 23,580. So pretty much the same entry as me. I'm at 23. My average entry is 23,579.
Let's see.
I'm fairly convinced now that Aventura has just like taken my daily discretionary trades and turned them into a strategy somehow.
And it'll either be him or an AI one day.
You still in my intellectual property there, Aventura?
All right, that is bullish. Okay. And the Bitcoin is rising. But I don't like Bitcoin where it is here. I would feel so much more. I only really like perfect trades, perfect entries, perfect trades. And if Bitcoin was down at 115.9, then I would be more comfortable for a long. And if this lower level here on NASDAQ 23,261-ish was cleared, I'd feel comfortable. But you're going in for the scalp. All right, I want to see you scalp this then.
Yeah, are you setting up the scalp, or what's the plan?
I'm looking for a pullback. I want the the scalp the other way down.
Understood. Oh, so Aventura says no, he didn't steal my trading ideas. He says he doesn't do manual trading at all. Well, I know that. What I'm saying is somehow you seem to have captured my trading style into an automated strategy. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, look at that move. All
and
right.
I want a copy of that. No, I'm kidding. Speaking of automated strategies, I'll also take a look at my automated VWAP to close strategy. Take a look at the signals there. Yeah, we're not quite to a signal on that one, so that one's a little late. But in about 2 minutes, that one will trigger a long.
All right, so I think I'm going to take a short if we get up. Definitely if we get to 23,673, which is the previous high, swing high, then I'm definitely going to short from over there. So let's activate.
So yesterday's high.
Correct.
Got it. I can see that. So far, these are some pretty solid candles, though. So I have some of the larger accounts. I'm already up about $400, $250 on a mid-size account, and about $60 on the smaller accounts. So awesome. Yesterday I got hit pretty hard, and I've now implemented a rule across my accounts where it's not account size based anymore. It's actually drawdown-based position sizing. So if the distance to drawdown is less than or equal to roughly $1,000, essentially I take the drawdown distance, take the floor of that number, divide it by 1,000, and that's the contract size. So if my drawdown, for example, is $1,100, I divide that by 1,000, that'd be 1.1. I take the floor of that number and I would trade one contract. So if I get to a point where it's got roughly 2,000 in drawdown, then I'll trade two contracts, 3,000 in drawdown 3, and I pretty much max out at 3 contracts per leg. And I'm finding that that's probably a little bit more solid of an approach for position sizing, because the loss of the accounts yesterday really came down to me being oversized in several Apex accounts. I mean all my Apex accounts.
What about when Forks Ike was talking about this idea of, what was he suggesting this, that it's just best to swing and pass the accounts as opposed to nursing them for too long? I wasn't sure about how big of a swing he's talking about.
I think because Apex doesn't have as many rules during the eval stage, a lot of people will do that. They'll just swing for the fence just to get to the target. And then once they're in a funded account, then they follow specific rules. Well, I was in several funded Apex accounts and I lost all of them, unfortunately.
I understand.
So, I will try again. I'll open up some new Apex accounts over the weekend, get prepped for the session next week, and then probably oversize on the evals or some of them and see if I can get through to the pass. Aventura says he's using the estimated Mike's average, the EMA. That's pretty clever.
That's great. That's great.
Well, it's certainly a more interesting, calmer open this morning.
Yeah, it does feel better.
So you're just going to wait for that 675 and then take a short from there?
Yeah, 23,633. I have it set up right now. It'll enter the short.
Well,
be taking
okay, so the battle is on here. I'm going to effectively just you're going to try to fade my long here, which is going the opposite direction. I'm going to go ahead and stick with my long and see if we continue beyond the 23,671 level, yesterday's high, because I think we found support, and I think if we break that level, that's specifically that 23,673 level that you're talking about, we try to retest the all-time high again after that, which is at 23,840.
Yeah, so I was thinking about also setting up a long right past my stop loss, just to flip the position if it does breeze through.
First. Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Take a small loss on the short.
That's right.
Do you mind if I ask?
I didn't realize that when I move the line with the alert, it reactivates the alert automatically.
That's right. That's actually how I add to my positions. So I'll start with an active line, it triggers, and then if I want to add to my position, I just move the line to the next spot wherever I want it to enter, and it reactivates the alert.
Okay, so that was the problem I had last night. I moved it activated, I moved the line just to get it out of the way, and it reactivated the line, and later on, ding, something happened. I was like, why did this turn on?
Yeah, the one thing I try to do at the end of every session is disable all of my strategies so that I'm not accidentally triggering alerts, even if I know I paused them all. I don't even want to take the risk.
Right.
All right, pretty good on this small position so far, up about 770 on the bigger accounts, 500 on a mid-size account, and up 130 on the accounts that I'm really trying to be very careful with. Those are the ones that I have 2 more Tradeify accounts and a couple other accounts that have less than 1,000 in drawdown left. So I am trading much smaller size on those. Just the one contract.
Right. It's so funny. How long does it take for the average trader to realize when you're down, size down, as opposed to I got to size bigger in order to get back to where I was?
Well, obviously it took me too long because I had 2 terrible trading days in a row and it wiped me out, and now I got to recover from this. What a nice bullish move here.
That's crazy, and Bitcoin's like sleepy.
Nice continuation from yesterday.
See, it's moves like this. When I don't see the dollar move and I don't see Bitcoin move and this moves in the NASDAQ, I go, okay. To me, it feels fake.
Aventura says, he looks like he's stacking some profits today. The estimated Mike's average is rocking it. All right, well, make sure you send me some profit share. All right, a little bit of a pullback here. I'm watching this regression trend from the session low, and I've pulled out the regression trend from yesterday because this is basically a continuation of yesterday's session move, and I'm kind of curious to see if we're already at the top end of this. I know your short entry was roughly at 673, but these candles are starting to make me a little bit worried that we might be pushing backward from here.
I even got a short signal on my thing. So let me get into my short now.
You want to enter now, and you're going to do the small scalp. I really want to see if we remain above VWAP before I try to exit a position here, because I still think there's a good long for the day, and I'm going to be in this position a lot longer.
I have these indicators called it's called Lull. Mm-hmm. That tells me when there's a lull in momentum, and so on H just showed up. So I got to sell that. The thing is,
well, now, yeah,
the when the H's show up, it usually means we're in an uptrend, and it's just for a minor pullback. I made it in order to warn me not to get too confident about the pullback, and I actually would have to wait for an L for it to suggest that we are actually in a downtrend.
Interesting. How is the lull calculated, by the way?
It's an aggregate of a bunch of momentum signals that I've fine-tuned for accuracy. Mm-hmm. I can make it more loose, more strict,
Is
and
that
it'll
just
give me.
measuring like two variations of ROC, of rate of change?
It is doing OBV, RSI,
Oh yeah,
some type of
MACD
momentum
or MACD.
calculation. Yeah. Oh wait, do I use the MACD in this? Yes, also use the MACD, and
Got
then
it.
some sort of volume analysis.
That's cool.
But it tells me when to look for dips in an uptrend,
Yeah.
not a reversal in the trend.
I feel like that could be really sensitive to slow moving candles like this. Obviously, the speed of volume right now is fairly low. It's not exactly super volatile right now, and I can imagine that your indicator might still be sensitive to some of these pullbacks, even if there's no real pullback yet.
Well, the reason I made it the way it did is that I wanted to see an aggregate of what other people, the signals other people were using to do for momentum or for overbought or oversold. I wanted to know when most other people would think that and when they would start selling.
Got it. That makes sense. Doing a little retail stop hunting.
That's right. Because you aggregate all the stuff like the YouTube videos about ICT and swing highs and swing lows and RSIs or whatever. You're like, okay, well then I think maybe 10% of people are going to start selling here.
So there's a term in the ICT world. They call it a PD array. Have you heard of this?
No.
Let me see what the PD stands for. I'm not an ICT guy for those watching. So if you guys know what PD stands for, it's maybe it's price discovery. I'm just guessing here. Oh no, it's a premium and discount arrangement.
Right.
Okay, so fascinating terms in the ICT world, which I've always appreciated. You know, whatever works to analyze the markets, go for it. Tyler G talked about this as well. He's like, there's a lot of haters on ICT, but honestly, when I watch this stuff, it just made sense to me. He looks for fair value gaps and effectively inversions in price, which by any other terms would basically just be a reversal. And you can call it other things. I don't care what terms you use. Go for the ICT terms. But what's funny to me is the phrase PD array. The first time I heard that and somebody referring to it, I didn't know what they were saying. I was like, Pedialyte? What are we saying here? PD what? PD? Like PD the guy? Is it the guy's name? It was freaking me out. And then I understood it was an acronym for
PD array.
PD array. I'm like, I had no idea. So we got a handful of people watching here. Does anybody in the chat here trade ICT? And if you do, what are you guys seeing here on the charts today?
I haven't felt this type of, let's call it buzz, whether that's fear or excitement or whatever.
Are you getting a buzz, Tom?
Well, because when I trade Bitcoin, it's so easy. I don't even really think about it. Like I lose so little. I think I was doing my numbers the other day and I was getting like a 92% success rate on my signals. But my signals happen once per week. And so I just look back and I go, over the last 4.5 months, I've just been nailing every single one of them. And I just wait for these long moves. But for when I see I can't stack profits the way that these prop firm people do it. Because I can't scale out what I'm doing in crypto. So this is so exciting to try this.
Because it's new.
Yeah, it's totally new. It has this upside potential.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right. Maybe the pullback is over.
All right. We're still getting some a continuation of this bullish move here.
Yeah.
I thought that pullback was going to come a little bit further, but it didn't.
That's what I was hoping for too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to enter a long if it crosses this high, because that'll confirm my stop loss is above the recent swing.
So you're going to switch your bias then when you get to yesterday's high?
No, when I get to 23,645, the most recent swing, because
that's going to be an entry long, is what you're saying.
Yes, exactly.
You should be in now then.
Yeah, so my stop loss is hit, and now It's just about to go long.
Okay.
All right.
That's what you were saying earlier. You had it set up to reverse.
Yeah.
Got it.
All right. Let's see how that goes.
Nah.
Well, it's always orders to sell at the previous high, always orders to buy at the previous low. So I always expect that first click, the pullback. But for me, as long as I'm seeing an H here, I'm more inclined to go long.
What's the H stand for again?
That there's a high, there was a momentum.
Oh, just a new high. Okay.
Yeah. And if I fail this, then I'll enter if we get to VWAP. But that'll be my only entry.
So the last 5-minute candle, my automated strategy did take a long. So far, the long that I took from the open here is playing out. Roughly the same profit I've already mentioned, about 700 on the big accounts, 450 on the medium accounts, and $100 on the smaller drawdown accounts. You know, I feel pretty good about this this drawdown strategy of mine for position sizing, because again, the game in prop firm trading is not about the account size. It's not about the
the number on the box.
Yeah, well, you can't really swing for the fences in prop. There were days in my live future accounts where I might pick up 15 grand in a day.
Right.
But you can't really do that in prop, because that'll blow your consistency score and it'll make it incredibly difficult for you to make profit, the remainder of the profit necessary to hit the consistency score on some of these accounts. So you basically have to lock in at roughly 1,200 to 1,500 max until you get to, maybe a live trading environment. But at least for many of the accounts that I'm trading right now, you want to keep your size really small, because you're managing such a small amount of capital in some of these accounts. Until you get into profit and you're granted a much larger distance to drawdown, like in these 150K accounts you can see here at the bottom of my list, I have over almost $7,000 in drawdown there. Well, that would be like trading a futures account with $7,000, and there's a little bit more room for error there than there is in an account that only had $800 in drawdown left. So to size based on drawdown makes a ton of sense to me, because then I can, remove some of that risk of blowing out the account too early.
Sleepy Bitcoin, no economic news, drift higher.
Interesting. Gold is also rallying this morning. Oil is rallying.
Ooh, I don't like oil.
Copper's in a little rally. Bitcoin's trying. VIX is coming down. The dollar is rising. It's an interesting session to see everything rising at the same time.
So the liquidations on Bitcoin. Nope, we're still at 17 billion. All right. Well, I'll take a drift higher all session if that's what happens.
I'd like to see a break to a new high here. There we go. It looked like it was stalling there for a bit.
Ooh, come on, you. It's doing that, what do they call that flag pattern? Where it's the 90-degree at the top. It's a bullish pennant, right?
That's so funny. I've studied all of the different types of patterns for so long. A bullish pennant, if we had that, it would have been the previous pullback. This isn't the pennant shape.
No, it's not the pennant one.
Yeah. But still, I don't like this resistance line here now that seems to be forming at 645.
Well, it's at the high, right? So we have to chew through it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I want to see a break to a new high. I thought we were just about to get it, and then it pulled back.
Right, but isn't that a sign if it keeps bouncing against that level, it's chewing out the sell orders,
The sellers,
and then
yeah.
eventually goes.
Assuming that we're going to exhaust the sellers on that side and continue.
Correct.
But if sellers start to dominate at this price, which it looks like it's doing, we may see a pullback from here. But one thing I've struggled, or not struggled, but I've finally gotten on board with is I will not underestimate buyers. Since April 7th, I have not underestimated buyers. I've expected that they are just going to keep showing up.
My line is always, I will not bet against the Empire. I just want to have, like, oh my God. Every time I do, it just steamrolled.
Yep.
Oh, I know how to
All right,
go.
there we go. So we finally broke it. A slight break. Not a lot of momentum, but...
Well, I like that. The non-momentum is just chewing up of the orders.
Exhausting everyone out. Yep. So NASDAQ's up about 62 basis points on the session. Plenty of room to go. I think there's still room to the upside. Gold's up a percentage point. The dollar came down a little bit. So dollar coming down slightly should mean NASDAQ go up. But
wait, did it go down? It barely
went down slightly. Yeah, pull up the 1 minute chart and you'll see the dollar just came down about 3 or 4 basis points.
I'm seeing an up here.
What time frame are you on?
1 minute.
Don't you look at dollar futures and not Dixie?
I have both. The Dixie is underneath here.
Oh.
Because I didn't pay the $100 a month for the dollar futures.
No, I've got the dollar basically hitting a high at 98.27 and it's now down to 98.22.
Oh, I see what you mean. That's too small of a move, though, for the dollar to affect the equity.
We're trading on the 1 minute chart here.
That's too small.
You said you were on the 1 minute, though. I thought you were looking at the same thing.
No, I'm on the 1 minute, but I'm looking for like a.
Oh, your chart is scaled down pretty far.
Oh, yes.
Even still, I'm looking at like relative size moves, right? So the NASDAQ's not moving by much today. It's up 60 basis points. The Dixie's up 17 basis points, but it was up 23. So that's kind of what I'm trying to measure here is what's the size of the move on a relative basis. Now, if maybe the bigger signal to look at is if the Dixie breaks below 98.19.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Those are the moves on that matter.
Break of support, right? Or even intraday support. Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, you've convinced me, Tom. I'm taking a closer look at Dixie now.
Yay! Wait until you start looking at the 3 month, 6 month spread. When people find out, I found out that hedge funds, that they have to go into, they have to get their collateral, they have to get set up for the day, and then they have to, they have to use the short dated bonds in order to do that. Mm-hmm. Then you start looking at the volatility that happens at the 3 to 6, at like around 7 o'clock in the morning, and then you get to see if there's going to be any like wobbles throughout the day, and you're like, oh. Fantastic. But if I talk to my friends about the 3 month, 6 month spread, they go, "What are you even talking about?"
Have you traded the spread?
No, I just use it as an indicator for the amount of volatility that we should see for the next trading session.
Got it.
Because if they can't get funding, there's a problem within the markets. Then we'll have a down day.
Oh, that was interesting. Selena has joined the chat. She says, "Hey, how are you?" We're doing well, Selena. Thank you for asking. Ooh, I got some exciting news in the background here from the TradersPost team. We are getting closer and closer to our official partnership and integration with Webull. And we know there are a lot of people on the Webull waitlist. So we're going to be real excited to be doing a big announcement around that once it goes live. That'll include stocks and options for US customers in the US markets. And we will immediately start to go to work as quickly as possible once the Canadian team is ready for Webull Canada as well, which I know you're pumped about, Tom.
Awesome. All right, their orders are being chewed up.
It's done. Yeah, we broke it finally. So I'm up about 1,000 on the big accounts, 650 on the medium, and 160 on the accounts I need to very carefully nurse so I do not lose them.
I'm up a modest $25, but per account.
There you go. All right, excellent. Okay.
So would you close this out for the session, or like would you leave this throughout the day and then come back like in a couple hours if you're up with a stop loss?
Actually, I was just going to cover that. I have a couple of new accounts with profit targets of roughly $9,000 because these are 150 accounts. So the way I do the math is you take the profit target times the consistency, which would be 0.2. And I want to make sure that effectively I don't make more than $1,800 in a day on those accounts.
Right.
Because once you hit your best day, everything else can be lower than that number, and then you can hit your profit target and keep within your consistency. So I just need to watch this trade. Maybe I close out today at 900. That's fine. It's just any day in which things are really moving in my favor, I want to make sure I don't exceed my I guess I'll call it my max profit for hitting the consistency score. When you go over that number, it just kicks the goalpost farther down the line. Now you have to make more than $9,000 in profit. Oh, where are these sellers coming from?
Yeah, look at that.
Aventura says, let it ride. I agree. It's still a bullish move today.
It's funny. It's like sometimes you have to negotiate down a salary to not get into the wrong tax bracket for wherever you live. You're like, don't make too much.
Yeah, exactly. You want to be under that number, and I'm like, no. Try to make more. This is again where prop is a different game. It's not the same as trading a normal futures account. We are not trying to swing for the fences. We are trying to stay consistent with our profits, get to the profit target, and receive a payout. I could care very little about how much profit I make in a day in a prop firm account. The objective is to get to the payout. Now, if this were a live futures account, no, I want to make as much as possible in one day.
Right. Right now we're in the wick of the previous high.
Yep.
And so we're going to have a bunch of chop in there.
Yep. So I see previous high of day was 23,671. So let's see how we respond here. Our seller's going to step in right here.
I doubt it. I seriously doubt it.
The Dixie's coming down further. It's down almost 10 basis points now.
After we pass this, we have the what was this? The high from the cycle high of July 21st. Sorry, July 31st, 2025. So that high is 23,848. That's going to be a lot of sellers in there.
Right. Yep. I definitely would anticipate lots of sellers initially, but it may pull back and then retest and break that high into a new all-time high.
All right, so I guess my trend signal does work on NASDAQ, on equities. Pretty happy about that.
Good to hear.
I mean, I do provide all my indicators for free, but I do want to I don't want to have some fundamental flaw.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right.
New high again. We're actually pushing slightly beyond yesterday's high. It's good news.
at the top of the daily candle. I do not like being in a wick. You ever use trading terminology in your regular everyday life, and people look at you like it's crazy? Like you're at a party and you're like, "I'm in a wick right now. Like I should leave." It's like, what?
Always.
I'm at a high right now, so I gotta take my profits out. You're gonna leave the party? You're having a great time. Yeah, so I should leave now.
I want to take my
Why should I wait
profits
for a
right now
pullback?
and head home, like up. Why would I try to exhaust that? No, I'm
That's right.
right there with you. I definitely use terminology around like betting in general, or risk, just thinking about the risk reward of things. Because I think obviously thinking in bets applies pretty much everywhere. There's a fantastic book by Annie Duke, who's a professional poker player. She wrote a book called Thinking in Bets, and it's great. I mean, honestly, I think that type of asymmetry shows up all over the place in your life, and it's not just on economic factors or monetary factors. You can think about it in terms of units of emotions as well, pain versus pleasure, and
That's right.
is this going to be worthwhile or satisfactory to me, and so on and so forth.
So if I'm eating a meal and I feel a pullback, I go, okay, I should stop eating this meal.
If this steak does not deliver continued upside, I'm cutting my losses and I'm out of here. Okay, no, that sounds psychopathic. I'm not that guy. Sometimes you got to let everything go and just be a human.
That's never served me.
That's two pretty bearish candles there. I'm thinking the sellers have said that's the rejection point. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm not looking to play around with this. I'm just going to exit here.
I mean, I'm up 800 still. I'd like to take some profit, but I want to see where we break from here. So what I typically do is start to form a new regression trend from the high and just see if that breaks against the previous regression trend. So I would actually need to see a breakdown below 23,639 before I start getting ready to exit this position. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I guess I don't really care.
You made some money, so you're ready to take. Yeah, you said you were going to scalp, so that would be a scalp.
It's not enough to give me the emotions that I need.
Got
So
it.
if I actually lose on the trade, that'll give me the emotions that I need. If it's not enough, take more risk. I'm joking. I would never just
random whatever. Well, I do feel good about actually taking a decent trade today. These last couple of days were definitely brutal. You guys watched me endure some pain multiple times in a row. And that was a rough one, and I think that's another reminder of the game here is, can you endure 10 to 15 trades in a row that are all losers? And I went through 9. Was it 9? Yeah, I think it was 9 total losing trades over 2 days in a row. And unfortunately, that swept me out of multiple accounts. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take here. Let me let it pull up just a little bit and then exit here. Okay, not too bad. 114 bucks on the smaller accounts, 450 on the mid, and 690 on the larger accounts. If this is a reversal from here, a true reversal, I might actually go ahead and turn around and take a scalp to the downside, but I want to see how it responds to VWAP here first.
Right, and you're doing the VWAP from the open, anchored from the open.
Correct. When I look at the main VWAP I look at is always the New York session VWAP or session VWAP, because I'm on the regular trading hours on TradingView.
Whereas I would expect this to come all the way back down to 23,580 or 23,590.
I only need 15 points, so that sounds good to me.
Yeah, let's All right. Now I'm getting the idea that if I were to add, to get my excitement, I could add other platform accounts and not take any more risk in the actual position.
Yep.
So I could get that scaling, but still be diligent about what I'm doing. So actually that might be fun. Maybe I'll just add another 2.
Scaling starts to make a ton of sense, doesn't it? Once you realize that the firms are completely comfortable letting you open multiple accounts and trade them all at the same time. And of course, TradersPost does a fantastic job of letting you scale across multiple accounts, size at different levels, set different risk rules for each account. There's a lot of functionality that we've built that obviously supports this approach. And, you can always add accounts to your existing plan on an a la carte basis. It's only $5 a month per account. I thought we might bounce off a VWAP there, so I was a little worried about taking a scalp. So I held off, and now it looks like the buyers just stepped back in again.
I actually entered a short because my indicators are suggesting that perhaps we move down lower.
No kidding.
Yeah. Because Bitcoin also, like, it moved up, it wicked, and it should come down to lower here. So I'm expecting the NASDAQ to come down lower, but I might be wrong. Because on the 15-minute, that's pretty bullish.
Yeah, it looks like on the 15-minute, I mean, there's definitely a rejection candle there off of yesterday's high still, and it's a little bit of a doji forming on the current 15-minute. But like I said, I try not to underestimate the bulls.
Mm-hmm. Did you get into the long at that VWAP? No. Okay.
Nope. Definitely probably should have there, and I missed it. I was considering it at 639, and I would have already taken profits at this point. So I think I'm just looking to see how price action shows up from here. I think what worried me is the distance to that, the distance to the all-time high rejection we just saw. And if this is a continued downside move, then I would expect the reversal below the previous candle high, which would obviously post or print a lower high. So I'm feeling a little indecisive at the moment.
That's right. Feels double topish.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite shorts to take. I'm going to take a short at all. Let's ride one there. I also think about what's the max pain. What's the max pain for people?
The max pain needs to be small because you don't have much room to work with, unfortunately.
I have a rule that if I ever feel like I should move down below the 1 minute, that I'm trading wrong. I go
below the one. Oh yeah, for sure. And the only reason I look at the 1 minute chart is to establish a more clear regression trend. I can see the reversals a little bit faster, but that doesn't mean that I'm trading really quick. I'm usually in positions for a while. You guys saw this morning I was in a position for 36 minutes.
Right. But I found that if I switch to the 15-second, it means, or I'm going down below 1 minute, it means I'm trying to convince myself of something and looking for anything to tell me that it's right. And then as soon as I feel that need, I go close the chart. Just close
get out of here.
Get out of here.
If you need the sub 1 minute chart, something's off. That's just noise down there. I think if
Trevor was saying all the time, we're breaking structure on the 1 minute, we're breaking structure on the 10-second. As a joke. It's like, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yep. Now, obviously, top down, everything starts from the daily chart. You know, all the institutional flow is primarily looking on daily. A lot of it's automated ETF buying from people's 401ks, so on and so forth. But it's I think anything below the 1 minute is just a lot of noise unless you're looking at the depth of market. If you're looking at level 1 and level 2 order book data, sure. Okay, now you can get into a very interesting quantitative realm. But candles on the 1 second, I don't know how reliable that is.
Yeah.
Peter just caught up on some of the conversation here and figured out that EMA stands for estimated Mike's average.
That's going on a t-shirt, folks. I'm collecting a list of all the best quotes from here, and it's going on a list.
So Aventura, just so you know, it's looking a little cloudy out here today, but it's probably going to get a little sunnier in the afternoon. You're going to miss all the rain. The forecast shows that it's going to be raining tomorrow and Sunday. All right, what is this, Tom? We're testing it again here.
Yeah.
Sideways.
Jesus, I'm like, want to tap my screen. Is it on?
Yeah, this is
Come on.
It's like the Bitcoin meme, poke it with a stick, do something. It's still looking bullish.
It's bullish, yeah.
It's bullish.
Yeah.
Well, I think what I'm going to try to do is maybe get prepared to take a quick scalp. I want to watch this candle right here and see where it closes. And I think I can probably take 15 points to the upside as the market tries to break into a new high for the day. But because of how indecisive I feel, I just want to take some quick wins here.
Right. All right, my position's not exiting here. What's going on?
You still in?
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of the position and it's not doing it. Let me try it again. Send in a signal.
Wish me luck on this quick scalp.
Oh, am I sending the wrong one? No, send exit. Idle time reach for Topstep X. What's going on?
It sounds like the API is having issues.
All right, I'll just close it manually.
Grr. Well, that's not fun.
23, 658. It looks like there's even a problem on the Topstep interface. Am I seeing the wrong thing?
There we go. Dang it. Darn it, Tom. Tried to take a long scalp.
Right. Gotta exit. Oh, you're stuck in the trade?
I'm stuck in the trade. Well, no, it's not a bug or anything. It's just I'm risking 20 points for 15 points a take, and I don't think it's going to get there. I thought for sure the bulls were going to step in here and try to push us to a new high. It's just
I think they will.
I think they could. We're right up against the all-time high resistance again, and I'm hoping that we try to break it. And usually when these things happen, we see some momentum behind it, but it looked like it was weakening there for a second. I'm a little worried about sellers taking over.
That's right.
We're getting a new candle. This is one of those things where I just have to close my eyes and just let it happen.
That's right. That's right.
So
that's why I did my first wedding.
All right, now we're going my direction. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. So pretty close to the max performance or max day that I would need to accept on the larger accounts. These two new 150K Tradeify accounts that I've set up, I now just printed 1,500 in profit, 1,000 on the medium size account, and 388 on the smaller accounts.
Way to go!
Good day. I think that's it for me. I would go ahead and just close everything down, disable the strategies, and let it and call it a day from here.
Awesome, man. Well, that was fun. I enjoyed that. That's fantastic. Makes me sad that prop firms are not going to be open on the weekend, but it will be open at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sunday.
That is true.
And I'm almost like, depending on how all this goes, I'm almost like, hey, maybe I'll do a price action live on Sunday nights for TradersPost because it'd be fun. I love trading at night as opposed to.
I wouldn't mind joining you. Honestly, I feel like there's obviously some opportunity for the Sunday electronic open, especially if there's any kind of news that breaks in the weekend. And there's been plenty of news that has broken over the weekend in the past here. So, but I still have. I'm going to be trying to open these Apex accounts and try to get to the profit target pretty quickly on them. And I think that's where a lot of people try to experiment is in the electronic session. It's a little bit lower of an ATR. Obviously, you can throw around a 1 or 2 NQ without taking a huge amount of risk, but you have some upside here if there's enough of a trend. So Peter is dabbing me again, which in my mind is an elbow, like the dab. It's not the dab. To me, I'm seeing this, and he's like inferring that I should know. Mike, like, take a hint. And I got to get used to this elbow cough thing.
All right, guys, we're going to end that here. We'll be back on Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. No, sorry, 9:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for more market trading. A reminder that TradersPost is the best advanced trade execution engine we've ever seen, and it's just going to get better from here. So thank you very much. And as always, we'll wish you happy trading.
Cheers, everyone.